Hi everybody. It's December of 2014, and we're in possibly the biggest moment of transition we've ever had at Semilla Nueva. After 4 years of work, we're about ready to move from 10 staff to over 15, from 10 communities to 25. We're going to be building our own office in the field and start working out of Guatemala City on big projects with potentially national impact. None of this would have been possible without literally thousands of people. Rural farmers, foundations, international researchers, and the dozens of people who have given weeks or years sweating in the fields and giving it all. For me, it's been a time of a bit of soul searching, trying to gather my strength by remembering why this is so important, why Semilla Nueva has been so meaningful in so many ways. In the process, I think I've had a couple questions come up, and I wanted to share the answers that I've found. The first big question for me was, why charity? Why should we give? As I was thinking about this question, something weird immediately popped into my head. My family had a lot of problems when I was 17 and I had just graduated high school. I didn't really have a place to stay for the summer, and I remember camping, living in a car, until my best friend's mom decided to take me in. She had no reason to, and I don't think she even knew me that well. But out of nowhere, I was living in her house. And when I came back from school, I would go there. It was like that for 2 years. I never asked why she did what she did. But for me, in the midst of all the hardship of those years, her kindness stuck with me and became a part of me. I think charity comes down to that moment when we realize there's something unfair in the world, that someone should do something about it, and that somebody can be you. Second question, why rural development? Why care about helping poor people half a world away? A lot of people talk about how much of poverty in Guatemala can be traced back to actions that my government took generations ago. Others talk about how important small farmers are to feeding the world in the future, or protecting rainforests, or even solving the immigration crisis. And all these things are true. But I think at the deepest human level, I think we can realize that we share the planet with 7 billion people, and that there are a lot of people we need to help, and a lot of problems we need to solve. But human beings are unfortunately really finite and really small, and so we find ourselves having to pick a few problems which may not even be the world's most important, but in little ways we let them become ours. We let them become our world. We start to think about the fields in southern Guatemala as if they were the neighborhood next door. And slowly, in a really important way, in our hearts, they become that. In other words, we all get to let a few big things in the world become the big things that we care about and that we sacrifice for. And small farmers in Guatemala has become that for us. So why Semilla Nueva? The question we used to get was when we were all going to go home and get real jobs. Now most of our staff is Guatemalan and over 40, so people need to come up with a new question. So many amazing people have given so many amazing years, and now it's 2014, and it honestly feels like we're just getting started. At some point, I think you have to decide if you're doing the thing you do because you honest to God love it, or because you're just doing it. Semilla Nueva was all about coming face to face with rural poverty and its tragedy, and looking for deep root causes on one hand, and also seeing how to get all the people involved in those deep root causes, productively changing them. It was about thinking about how nonprofits could do development differently, how farmers could change their situation in a better way, and how we could build the kinds of relationships with all the other actors to help foster real change. And here we are. And in baby steps, we're doing it. The Guatemalan government's building new national strategies for its agricultural research. Thousands of families have gotten access to new techniques and seeds, not from us, but from those we've inspired. Farmers are teaching their neighbors and doing their own experimentation. We're in it. And when we stop to think and breathe, I think we realize that it's exactly where we're supposed to be. For all of you who support us, for those of you who watch us on the other end of that computer screen, I hope that feeling comes to you as well. That you can take a deep breath and be proud that something is growing and becoming like it should. And that your care, that your attention has been worth something real. I hope that just like we're finding new ways to make an even bigger difference, just like how we are renewing and deepening our passion for this work, that you renew your passion as well, that you're proud of what we've all been able to do, and that you're proud of the part that you've been able to play with us.